hope everybody is having an amazing day. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Danielle Patterson Winningham, and this is Inspiration, Influence, and Income. I'm super excited about this series that we're doing right now, which is called 70 Days of Prayer. And the 70 Days of Prayer is about restoring your faith for the next level. If you're watching on Periscope, I apologize. I'm on a different device, and so I may or may not see your comments. Good morning, Felicia Day. Hey, everybody. So I'm super excited about this series. We're going to be doing it for the next 70 days, every day at 7-ish. That means between like 7 and 7:30. You don't have to guess if I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. Good morning, Shirley and D. Morris, Judy Healthier, Princess Favor, Deb Silks. Do me a big favor and invite your friends. Share the broadcast. Invite your friends. Oh, Judy, you're welcome. And share the broadcast. Invite your friends. And let's go through this restoration of faith together. So for the first 2 days, the first day was all about what are you believing God for? And the second day was about what have you asked God for, right? What have you asked for and received? And being honest. Thank you, Donna, for sharing the broadcast. Good morning, Verlene. Good morning, Roz. And being honest about your life as it exists right now. And if you don't like your life, it's either because you've not asked God for a thing or you've not believed that he can make that thing happen, right? So we're taking responsibility for where our life is right now. So further responsibility this morning, good morning, Malakisha, is that Mark 9:23 says, and you know one thing I find in reading the Bible, and really reading the Bible, thank you, Vet, is that you'll see that small words have a big meaning. Good morning, Lord. Tell your husband I said good morning. Good morning, Mimi. Small words in the Bible have a big meaning. And if we're not careful, we will overlook those small words and those big meanings. Amen. So Mark 9:23 says, if. See, I'm going to quit already. I'm about to stop already, Felicia Day. It said if. See, that predicates the fact that there's a condition. There's a condition on what he's about to say. It says if you. Oh, it's getting deep, y'all. It's getting deep. If you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. So what that means, good morning, Shalonda, is that if you don't have a certain thing, you got to step back and say, well, do I believe that that thing is possible? The minute I started believing that I could exist without my job, I left my job. Good morning, Powerhouse. I left my job and made money. The minute that I started believing that I could earn $1 million, I earned $1 million. See, you got to go back to that if you can believe. And so let's talk about what keeps us from believing. Number one, you got to stop letting the devil pull the wool over your eyes. Now, I hate to give him so much power, but the truth is the truth. And if you haven't shared the broadcast, please share the broadcast. We've got to stop giving the enemy so much power. Good morning, Darlene. And what I mean by that is that we allow the enemy to show us false things. Now, the Lord already told us he is the author of confusion. The Lord already told us he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But yet we're not ready. Good morning, Thisha. We're not ready. We act like his attacks are a surprise, when in actuality, we should get up every morning. Good morning, Daphne. We should rise and shine every morning, prepared to fight off his attacks. Good morning, Katrina. Good morning, Dana. True or not true? True or not true? We act as if this confusion is a surprise, when in actuality, we should wake up every morning and put on the whole armor of God because we know he's coming? Why do we act so surprised when things don't go just right? Why do we act so stricken when things are a little bit off? But see, that's when we have to bring into remembrance that not only did he say all things are possible to him who believes, he also said all things are working together for the good of those who love the Lord. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How many times have you guys had a bad thing happen to you? And that bad thing turned around into a good thing. Just say me real quick. Good morning, Napolina. Good morning, Gwendolyn. Just say me real quick. How many of you have lost a job and end up getting a better job? How many of you have had something, you went through a divorce, but you ended up living better after the divorce? You lost a house, but you got a bigger house. Your car broke down, but you got a bigger car. See, we got to stop crying and fretting when bad things happen, and we got to be in remembrance, right, that all things are working for the good of those who love the Lord. We spend more time in regret than we do in faith. We spend more time in mourning than we do in pushing forward. We spend more time talking about what happened than moving on, thanking God for it, and getting on about our way. And so we've got to stop. We've got to change the way, good morning, Velsa, that we operate when things go wrong. See, these small words mean a lot in the Bible. And that's why we're going to do this for the next 70 days, every day at 7 a.m.-ish. We're going to examine our faith. Because he said, if you can believe, then all things are possible to him who believes. So we got to stop letting the devil pull the wool over our eyes. Number one. Number two, we gotta keep other people out of our destiny. We gotta keep other people from talking us out of our millions. We gotta stop other people from letting the air out of our confidence. We've got to stop other people from writing the end to our story. God told me that's not how the story ends. And so when you know that this is not how the story ends, why would you let other people tell you that this is how the story ends? Everybody that is in your boat is not rowing. There's some people in your boat that's drilling holes. Good morning, Shanita. And there's some people in your boat that's bringing in water. Everybody that's in your boat ain't rowing. You better understand and believe that. So while you think everybody in your boat is rowing, while you think everybody in your boat is trying to get you to your destination, but they in your ear saying, "Oh, Captain, I think you going the wrong way." That's why Columbus never ended up in America. Hello? Y'all better check your his story books. It ain't history. It's his story. You better check. That's why they going back now talking about Columbus never made it to America. Hello? Because it was somebody. He was on the way here. He was almost here. And somebody got in his ear and say, "Columbus, I don't think we going the right way." And the main ones that be in your ear ain't rowing and going nowhere. Can I just get one amen? The main ones that have so much to say to you about your next level, the main ones that have so many derogatory and negative comments, good morning, Adrian, the main ones that telling you going the wrong direction ain't struck out on their trip. And we listening. We got to stop listening to the individuals who ain't even rowing their own boat. So we said, if you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. We've got to get the disbelievers out of our face. But we quick to run up on folks talking about your $1 million plan for them to tell you, girl, you ain't finna make no $1 million. Girl, ain't nobody finna hire you. Girl, you ain't got no degree. Girl, who gonna listen to you? Them be the main ones, y'all. Them be the main ones. You gotta get them naysayers out your face, out your ear, and out your life. Right, Gwendolyn? They ain't even rowing their own boat. How all of a sudden you a rowboat? The minute I get a boat, all of a sudden, like the old folks say, all of a sudden, you a rowboat expert. You ain't never even held a paddle, but you wanna counsel me on how to row my boat. Your own boat taking on water, your own boat running ashore, but you want to. And then we have the audacity to listen. We have the unmitigated gall as to listen to fools walking around this planet telling us about stuff they don't know nothing about. Guys, every now and then, good morning, Stacy, you gotta check people's lineage. I'm not saying be distrustful, but you know what I saw? Let me tell y'all what I'm saying. Come on now, I'm finna get deep, because see, this is business church, right? Every now and then, you gotta check people's lineage, because I got an email the other day, and it said, good morning, Deanna. It said, here are some notes from a live streaming expert. And I said to myself, I said, Harpo, who these people? Who this live streaming expert? I said, let me see, because, I'm not claiming to be the only live streaming expert. I said, let me look into this person, because I don't know them. Maybe we can merge communities, 'cause I got a big live streaming community, maybe he got a big live streaming community, maybe we can work together, because, I'll be all about partnership, right? Baby, I looked into that person. That person didn't have no more live stream views than my brand new clients. Hello? So, at what point did you become an expert and you ain't did that many videos and you ain't got that many people watching? Good morning, Van. Check the lineage. Check the lineage. See, guys, I believe in startups. I believe in small businesses. I believe that we can grow up to be great things. But just because I run around and call myself thin does not thin make me. Can the church say amen? Check these folks' lineage, y'all. You taking expert advice from non-experts. And 9 out of 10, you might have even paid for it. People talking about 7 steps to 7 figures and ain't never made 7 figure, barely making 6. Check the lineage. If you really watch me, I never started talking about generating 7 figures until I generated 7 figures. You can't just call yourself a thing and that be so. But see, we taking expert advice from non-experts and they're steering you down the wrong path. Ain't made 5 figures. Ain't made a figure 8. Turn to your neighbor and say, I'm skinny, and so it is so. That's not how that works. That is not how that works. If you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. So we've got to stop allowing other people. Good morning, Stephen. We've got to stop allowing other people to talk us out of our next level, regardless as to who they are. We got to stop it. So that's number one. So we're talking about what impacts your belief. We're talking about that today. because it's some belief factors. See, 70 days of prayer. We said day one. We said, what are you believing God for? Because what you believe God for is what you have. Number two. Oh, that's number three, Stacy. Don't get ahead of me now. Number two, day two was look around you and be honest. And what are you asking God for? And are you believing for that? And are you working towards that? Day three is if. Look at your neighbor and say if. If you can believe. If you can. It ain't about what nobody else believes. So stop listening to what other people believe about your life. But if you can believe, all things are possible. Exactly, Tanya. Drinking other people's Kool-Aid. So we said today, stop letting the devil trick you. Number one. Number two, stop letting other people speak over your destiny. Number three. Number three is deep. I don't know if you're ready. If you're ready, say me. Number three is real, real deep, y'all. Somebody say I'm ready, coach. I don't know if I can even deliver this to you this morning because it might just knock you out. I don't know if we got enough ushers on hand to attend to everybody because number three is real, real deep. And I really believe that number three is the primary thing that keeps us stuck. Deanna says she ready. Tammy said me. Stacy said me. Are you really ready? Because, yeah, the devil, he play his tricks. I ain't gonna lie, but God told us he was. You know, other people, they say what they say and they do what they do. But we understand that too. That's just the nature of people. But who's going to keep you from talking crazy to yourself? Who's going to keep you from talking you out of your next level? Who's going to stop you from committing sabotage against you? As they say on the cartoons, sabotage. Who is going to intervene in the way you handle yourself mentally? Who's going to put you on the couch and talk to you about the self-abuse, about the mental abuse, about the physical abuse that you levy on yourself? We can't even talk about what the enemy do to us because we so busy beating ourselves up mentally, beating ourselves up physically, running through the world, doing everything for everybody but ourselves. Talking crazy to ourselves. If you would just shut up talking to you, you could go places, baby. If you could just shut your mouth. Self-inflicted wounds. Hello? Waking up, stabbing yourself. Hey, Pam Brewer. Waking up, fighting yourself. If you would just stop telling yourself lies about your greatness. If you would just stop talking yourself out of your abundance, out of your next level, out of that house, out of that car. I just need to see some me's. How many times have you talked yourself out of an opportunity? Somebody says, hey, here's an opportunity. And you say, oh man, that sounds like that's a great opportunity. And then you start talking to yourself about the opportunity. And then the longer you talk to yourself, the longer yourself tell you, girl, that ain't your opportunity. You ain't qualified. Don't nobody want to hear from you. You ain't nobody. You was born nobody. You gonna die nobody. Ain't nobody studying you. You is not for the next level. How many times are you gonna let you talk yourself out of your greatness? Somebody need to say no more. Have a conversation with somebody other than yourself. Figure out how to get out of your own head. You are enemy number one. You are enemy number one against yourself. If it was a top 10 wanted poster for people in your life that had done you the most harm, you would be pictures number 1 through 5. I try to tell y'all. I told y'all it was a tough pill. This whole 70 days, some of y'all ain't even going to be able to make it 70 days. Some of y'all ain't even going to be able to show up tomorrow. Some of y'all, this is going to be too real and too hurtful that you're going to figure out something I did wrong. Oh, I don't like her. She too loud. I would go do the 70 days of prayer with her, but she thinks she know everything. Boo, it ain't about me. Yeah, you get your mouth off me, baby. It ain't about me. This is about, can you stand in your word? Can you read your Bible and then go do what it say? Can you honor, trust, and obey what your book say to do? I can tell you it won't, this 70 days won't, I'll be here for 70 days. I'll be here every day for 70. I'm going to do my heart work. I'm going to work on my spirit. Will you? That's the hard part. You are enemy number one to yourself. There is not, I'm going to be honest. Can I be brutally honest? Can I be brutally honest? There's no one that I can name in this world that has done as much harm, as much hurt, delivered as much pain, talked as crazy to me as I have to myself. There's no one that I can name. There's no situation that I've been in. There's no interaction that I've had that has been as harmful as my me time. I can't blame my mother, even in my limited interactions with my father, even in all the crazy bosses, all the jacked up relationships, you name it. There's never been anybody in my life that treated me as badly. Girl, if somebody else was to say, come on now, y'all know we be ready to fight. If somebody else was to say a tenth to me of what I say to myself, if somebody was to say, thank you, Bethia, thank you, Altovis, a tenth to me of what I say to myself. You talking about somebody taking jewelry off? Come on now. Somebody putting Vaseline on their face? Come on now. What you say, Altovis? We got to get our Timbs on. Baby, we'll be rolling in the street, slanging fists, pulling hair, and everything. Come on. Stop me when I'm lying. If anybody was to roll up on you right now, it would be on, tell them, Gwendolyn, and popping. If anybody was to step into my space right now and say, even some of the stuff I done thought today, good morning, Vaughn, to my face, girl, it's going to be some slow singing and some flower bringing. Because I just might kill them. Yeah. For sure they going to make me lose my salvation. For sure they going to get cussed out at a minimum. Good morning, Tawanda. At a minimum. Let somebody say to me the hurtful, nasty, disrespectful, dishonorable stuff that I say to myself? Come on now. I'm just being honest. Right, Gwendolyn? I'd have to call around for some bail money. We talk crazy to ourselves. At a minimum, Aunt Tammy. At a minimum. We talk so crazy to ourselves. And at no point do we say, I wouldn't let anybody else, good morning, Brother Ruben, talk to me like this. Why am I letting me talk to me like this? We've got to change our back talk. We've got to change the conversations that we have with ourselves. And to be honest, we may even need to have some healthy arguments with ourselves. And, you know, my granddaddy say, talking to yourself, it ain't crazy unless you answer. And so when yourself tells you, girl, you're not capable, maybe you need to say, self, shut up. I'm capable. I'm a child of the Most High. I was created in His image. I was born to be great. I am stepping into my destiny, and I'm walking with both feet. Maybe when yourself tells you that you weren't born for this situation, thank you, Brenda. Maybe you tell yourself, self, I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you for your help. How about you mind your business? How about you let me worry about me? I've made it fine these last 47 years. I don't need to hear nothing from the peanut gallery. See, you got to shut yourself up, because if you don't, you will talk you out of your greatness, out of your next level, out of your abundance. Yeah, you got to answer. Yeah, because Gwendolyn, if you try to ignore it, it gets louder. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? When you try to ignore the chatter gets louder. So sometimes you need to have a conversation with the chatter so you can shut the chatter up. That's the only way to get rid of that voice. Is the voice of positivity has to be louder. There's a book called, come on now, let me come up with the name of the book. I want to say the book is called The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Robert Schwartz. And in that book, he said, your mind is like a factory, because we produce thousands of thoughts a day. And the majority of the thoughts that we produce are negative thoughts. And that in order for us to take over the mind factory, right? He said you have a positive mind forming and a negative mind forming. And in order for you to take over the mind factory, you've got to give more work to your positive mind forming than you do to your negative mind forming. So you've got to be deliberate about handing out your thoughts. We can no longer afford to let our minds run rampant. Mark 9:23 said, if you can believe. So what keeps you from believing is yourself. That is the primary factor. Hey, baby Daisy. That is the primary factor that keeps you from believing. So until you start to have a different conversation with yourself, and if you're not deliberate, your first mind will take over and have a conversation for you. Hey guys, I'm launching a new coaching program. You know you need the program, but your mind say, girl, you can't afford that. Don't sign up for that. What if it don't work? What if this and that? Maybe you'll take it later. Maybe you'll take it next year. See, before you can even make a decision, yourself has taken over and telling you all the things not to do. Remember earlier when we said when you rowing your boat towards your destination, be careful who's drilling holes, because everybody ain't rowing. When you rowing your boat towards your purpose, be careful who's putting water in the ship instead of taking water out the boat. When you rowing your boat towards your abundance, be careful who's whispering in your ear and giving you misdirection. Sometimes all of that is you. Sometimes you in the front rowing and your other self in the back drilling holes. Sometimes you in the front putting water out and your other self in the back putting water in. Sometimes if you're not careful, you've got a map, but your other self go this way. Fiona, it don't take. The enemy is looking for any and every opportunity to delay and derail you. Don't let him. Don't let him, including your own mind. Including your own mind. So today, we say, if you can believe, all things are possible. So today's assignment, I want you to think back to something that the enemy allowed you to talk yourself out of that would have ended up benefiting your life, your business, your abundance. I want you to think back to a conversation that you had with yourself and you ended up going a way that had you went the way that you initially said. See, we tend to overthink some things. And that fear thing will keep us second guessing ourselves. And I want you today to think back and see, all of this is about faith. All of this is about your faith versus your fear. And faith will make you go ahead and make a decision and say, if I can believe, all things are possible. So it's not about what decision. It's not about what decision I make. It's about how quickly I make it. It's about what's my belief. Do I believe I made the right decision? And Jeanette, not only why you have to encourage yourself, you got to have conversations with yourself. You got to educate yourself. You got to hold yourself accountable for continuing to move. Let me tell you something. It's a whole lot of work to be done to get to where you need to go. But I can tell you, as sure as I'm sitting right here, whatever you don't like about your life is your fault. Whatever you don't like about your life is a direct correlation with your life and your faith. You don't like your bank account? That's what you believed God for. We talked about that yesterday. The difference between I'm believing God for paycheck to paycheck, or I'm believing God for $500,000, or I'm believing God for billions. What's in your bank account? That's what you asked for. That is exactly what you asked for. That's what you took the action to get. So don't be mad about it. Your house you live in, you may say to yourself, oh man, this house ain't big enough for my family. That's what you asked for. Somewhere in the house selection process, instead of you believing you could have room for everybody in your family, you said to yourself, stop me when I'm wrong. You said, I can't afford a bigger house, so let me just settle Stop me when I'm wrong. At some point in your life, you have caught the settle bus instead of catching the purpose bus. At some point in your life, you have caught the comfortable bus instead of catching the faith bus. At some point in your life, you have caught the complacency bus instead of catching the faith bus. Every day, we got choices as to which bus we catch. And at some point in your life, instead of you getting that Suburban because it was going to fit your whole family, you got that Toyota Prius. Because you talked yourself out of what you could have. Can I tell y'all an old story about faith? Let me tell you an old story about faith. This is back when I first had hope and faith. Me and my husband was broke up at that time. We ended up getting back together and breaking up again, but at that time we was broke up. And I didn't have a car that would fit 3 car seats. I had, my son was 20 months old. He had a car seat. The twins were newborns. They had a car seat. And if you know anything about the law, you really ain't supposed to put none of them car seats in the front seat, right? And if you know anything about small cars, most small cars only have 2 seat belts in the back seat. So at some point, somebody's safety is going to be impacted because I got 3 car seats. I'm gonna make it short. I'm gonna hurry up. And so I go to the dealership. And I never ask for what I could afford. Because at the time, it was just me. I was a single parent. I probably made about $30,000 a year. But when I went to the dealership, I never asked. I never asked that man for what I could afford. I told that man what I needed. And I believed that God loved me and my kids enough that I would leave that dealership with what I needed. And I left that dealership with a brand new Suburban. I didn't leave with what and the payments weren't any more. The payments weren't any more than any other car I would have left that dealership with. I didn't leave that dealership with what I could afford. I left that dealership with what I believed that I could have, and I left that dealership with what I needed. If you have a need right now in your life, it's not being fulfilled, not because you can't afford it. It's because you don't believe it. I don't know how to convey to you any other way but that if there's something in your life that's missing, it's according to your belief. It's not according to your prayer. It ain't how many times you pray. It ain't how many times you fast. It's what are you believing God for? And when I hit that dealership, I never, ever, ever believed that I would leave with something that would not take care of my family. And not only did I leave the dealership with what I needed, I left that night. I wasn't even there that long. And you know what? I'm going to tell y'all something. I went back maybe a month later, and they was going over my paperwork at the dealership. And them folks said, we don't know how you got this deal. But I knew. Them people looked over my paperwork. They said, we don't know how you got this truck for this cost. But I knew. Sometimes you just got to believe and you can't even look at the numbers. The numbers would trip you up sometime. I can't even tell y'all about this house I live in. I can't even tell you. I needed a 5-bedroom. I needed a 5-bedroom house. I wasn't making that much money, y'all. I needed a 5. And then I got somebody that could tell you this story. Somebody that witnessed the story. My tax lady, Pam Banks. At the time, I probably wasn't making no more than maybe $40,000 a year, maybe. But I knew I needed a 5-bedroom because my mom lives with me. So I knew I needed a bedroom for my mother, a bedroom for myself, a bedroom for Tyler, a bedroom for Hope and Faith. And my aunt used to come stay with me and watch the kids in the summer. I needed a bedroom for her. I needed a minimum of a 5-bedroom. I needed a minimum of a 5-bedroom. Credit was not the best. I definitely didn't have no 10% down. This house that I got was a $225,000 house. I took them a check for $500. And I moved in with $1,500. I got a $200,000+ house. And all I went to closing with was $1,500. And I'm thinking the whole time I'm signing this paperwork, somebody gonna run in this room and say, not only is her credit not good enough, we need some more money down. And if I tell you, I never believed that I would get less than a 5-bedroom game room, 4 bathrooms, 2 living rooms, 2 dining areas. I never believed that I would get less than what I needed for I never believed it. I never believed it. So today, I'm calling all y'all to the carpet. I'm going to call all y'all to the carpet. And I'm going to make you write down, what do you believe in God for that you haven't seen materialize in your life? And I want you to watch yourself. I want you to watch the conversation that starts to happen. Lashika here, I'll be honest with you. God wasn't my realtor. God sent me a realtor that had I not listened to that realtor, I may not have a house to this day. See, you got to remember that God will send you people to your life. Some of you, God has sent me to help you build your business. But you're being disobedient, saying, I can't afford to work with you. When in actuality, if you believe for and have faith and move your feet, you'll have the money to do whatever you need to. He said that. He said faith and works. So no, God wasn't my realtor. God aligned me. He said even in the Bible, forsake thee not the fellowship. He will put people in your path to facilitate your needs. But if you're disobedient and refuse to work with those people, then what happens is you don't get the fruits of working. If you praying that morning for help in your business and you tune on a broadcast and you see me and you don't move immediately, you waiting on confirmation after see, I never did any of that. The woman told me show up with $500. I wasn't nowhere praying. Somebody, Lord, give me confirmation that this the right house, this the right realtor. Lord, I'm waiting on your confirmation. I never did that. And I still don't do that. When the Lord tell me to move, I move. Just like that. Like Luda. When he move, I move. Just like that. Some of y'all be looking at burning bushes, talking about, oh Lord, I see this bush on fire. Is you trying to talk to me? Girl, the Lord ain't trying to talk to you. That is a bush on fire. Call 911. You've asked. He's delivered. What else is there? There is no more confirmation. There is no more need to check this and check that. I'm gonna tell y'all one more. And my mom, I wish my mom was here, because my mom, she can my mom, she can vouch for all of this. I'm gonna tell y'all one more story. My ex-husband wrecked my mom's car, but it wasn't his fault. They had a recall on the braking system. But he literally, yeah, Gwendolyn, it'll be up for replay. She said, oh my God, here come my students. He literally wrecked her car like in the middle of a pay period. Good morning, Chiquita. And you know, we ain't had no money to go to no dealership and get no car. But at the same time, when you live in a big city, you don't have no choice. Amen, Shalonda. Hey, good morning, Atika. And so we go to the dealership, right? And we're looking at all these cars and the price ain't right. They want so much down payment and we didn't have it. It wasn't even a belief thing. You know, sometimes you can look at your bank account and you just know you don't have it. So I'm sitting outside waiting on my mom. And while I'm sitting outside, y'all know I've always been a coach. While I'm sitting outside, I get into a conversation with this young white guy. Young guy, could have been no more than 25. And at the time, I worked for online banking for Chase. And this is when online banking was new. This is probably a good 15 years ago. And I'm telling him all the things he could do with online banking, how he can make transfers and how he can pay bills. And I mean, I gave him $1,000 worth of advice. Sitting out there on the bench. Talked to him for about 30 or 45 minutes. Now, when he got ready to go, he said, I really appreciate you. Is there anything I can do to help? I said, no. I'm thinking he's a salesman, right? I said, no, I'm good. Just here trying to get my mom a car. And by this time, me and him cool. So I said, man, I'm here trying to get my mom a car. I said, I don't know how that's going to work. He said, what you mean? I said, man, I ain't really got no credit and I ain't really got no money. I said, I'm just here on faith. Good morning, Anthony. He started laughing. He said, well, let me see what I can do to help you. And he shook my hand. He said, I don't remember if I told you my name. He said, my name is Chris Goodman. We was at Goodman Mitsubishi. He was the son of the owner of the dealership. For 1 hour, I sat out here and gave financial advice to the son of the owner of the dealership. I didn't know who he was, where he came from. This just me. If I've got information that's going to help somebody, I'm going to share the information. He was young. I had no reason to expect that he was anybody. But when he got up and asked me what I need, some said, just tell him. And I told him, and I wouldn't at least been embarrassed. I said, they probably going to tell us what we need to do so we can get our money together and come back. So he said, let me go check. He said, let me go check on some stuff. If I tell you me and my mama was pulling out of that dealership parking lot less than 45 minutes later with a brand new car. Less than 45 minutes later. The paperwork wasn't finished. Less than 45 minutes later, He went into that office with that salesman. He got the writing on that paper. Baby, I think we gave him like $250. And we was gone. Good morning, Keisha. And when we got home, my mama said, what happened? And I said, girl, just grace. Just the grace of God. And so much so that when we went back, he said, when we went to pick up the plates for the car, it was a note on the tags to call him when we got there. Do you know that man came out, good morning, Tia Lee, and put them tags on that car himself? That man came out of that office and put them tags on that car himself. So my grandmother used to always tell me, you never know who you talking to. Treat everybody the same. You never know when you entertaining angels. Good morning, April. Treat everybody the same. I'm going to be honest with you. It's been more years that I didn't have money than I had money. So sometimes all I had was a smile. Sometimes all I had was a please and a thank you. And sometimes all I had was that my belief that God was going to fix my situation. So when I'm talking to you about believing, when I'm talking to you about questioning your faith, if you don't have what you're believing God for, and when I talk to you about that, it's because I've been there. Exactly, Kendra, because I've been there. And I know the level of your greatness. And I know that whatever you're not obtaining is because you're talking yourself out of it. And you've got to stop talking yourself out of your next level. And then if you feel a miracle is coming, it's coming. But you know what? I feel like I live every day in the miraculous. Amen. It's one thing to feel like a miracle is coming. It's another thing to I feel like my life is a miracle. I feel like every day, I'm not going to get started, but I just feel like there's no shortage of miracles in that. We're looking for these miracles to be these big, sparkly, shiny, translucent things that just rock us to our core. And I think that in looking for the big miracles, we've overlooked the miracles that are already happening. They already happening. Every day I connect with somebody I need, or every day I learn something more about this life and about this business. I just think that miracles are all around us. And so, D, that's, again, if you've been going through a lot of trials, as we said this morning, trials are part of it. We got to have an expectation for trials, but what are we believing God for to bring us out of those trials? What are we doing to save ourselves from those trials? What are we doing to move our feet? As Winston Churchill says, when you're going through hell, keep going. So, all right, guys, 70 days of prayer. I'll see you guys later today, but I'll also see you tomorrow morning at 7-ish. Don't miss it. 70 days of prayer. How many days will you be here?